What is going on, everyone out there in the MNC Hoops world? We're glad to be back live. Guys, last week we was on Thursday. Today we're on Friday. It's a little bit of my fault. Children have baseball games, and when you help coach, you kind of got to do some things, and it makes it rough to get back in time. So, with that being said, things have changed since last week as far as the second round and what all's going on. So, we've got a lot to talk about and some disappointments, some excitements, and some Knicks fans, I think, a little stressful moments here. But, we'll get into that. But before we get into it, CJ, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Doing great right now. Knicks up almost 40, 37 right now. So looking to see our first Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 25 years.
Wow.
It's
And how old are you?
30.
So I mean, since basically you started kindergarten.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right before kindergarten. They were in the finals.
Wow.
So it's a historic moment. Though we get it done in 5, but I think it's better here at the crib. It's more satisfying here at the crib. The way they're playing right now, it's been great. So my week has been a little up and down, just based on like what's going on with the Knicks. But like personal life, everything is great.
Good. Sounds good. I'm excited. Let me just tell you this. Of course, I love basketball. That's why we do this podcast. Also, I do my other podcast about Kentucky basketball. But, Trent Noah, I don't know if you've heard of me talk about him, but he's from Harlan County. He's playing for Kentucky at the college level. Well, he's having a basketball camp tomorrow for kindergarten through 6th grade, I think it is. And I've got all 3 of my kids signed up for it. So I'm going to go out there and, have a good time with that here in Harlan County. So that's good. One of my daughters don't really want to do it, but I said, hey, you get an autograph picture of Trent Noah because you do it. So if you don't want it, I'll just take it. I can put it up behind me somewhere. So, should be fun to do that.
Hey, that's going to basketball camp. Okay.
Absolutely. Of course, guys, if y'all don't know, I've got 2 third graders and 1 2nd grader. So they're at that young age where basketball's getting to be a part of it. My oldest girl, who hates to do anything that I like, that's just who she is. I think that's how she shows love. Did not want to play Little League, but I talked with you before about her getting a rebound and kind of getting into it now. So 4th grade starts sports as far as the organized at a school level. And tryouts was released when they're going to have it for the girls basketball team. She seemed a little interested, so it makes me a little excited about that. But we'll see how it goes.
Young phenoms over there. You guys,
absolutely. I already told her, I said, listen.
3 phenoms in the Lawson household.
That's right. Well, we talked about repeating this year for all 3 of my kids just because we started them early in school. So they're the youngest in the class, and there's like people that are 2 years older than them where we start them early. Plus, you do have fullbacks, whatever, on that stuff. Right. So I told her, I said, if you want to play basketball and we do repeat, we might have to just start us up in AAU with some girls and see what we can do with that. Because, I'd have both my daughters playing. And it might be some fun.
Be some LeVar Balls type stuff, man.
Right. Yeah, yes. Come out,
Mom. All your kids on one AAU team, and you the
there
coach?
We go. I like that. We'll call it, MNC Hoops. That's what we'll name it.
MNC Hoops AAU squad. I'm down.
There we go. Well, listen, I know you guys aren't here to listen to us talk about our lives, maybe, but let's get into some NBA. And before we get into the playoffs, let's start off with the lottery, and I want your thoughts on it. And I've seen some posts earlier in the week after it happened. Some things were kind of interesting, but we'll go ahead and bring it up here. Let's go ahead and talk about Dallas Mavericks getting the number 1 NBA, lottery pick. CJ's got it brought up here from NBA on ESPN on Twitter. Of course, Dallas number 1, Spurs number 2, 76ers, Hornets, Jazz, Wizards, Pelicans, Nets, Raptors, Rockets, Trailblazers, Bulls, Hawks, and Spurs again. What's your thoughts, sir?
My thoughts are if you're a Dallas Maverick fan, the roller coaster of emotions that you've had over the last 4 months, it's been insane. Going from anger to frustration, confusion, to now or disappointment with Kyrie and then AD getting hurt and those guys
Yep.
none of those guys were able to stay healthy together at the right time. Now it's like excitement, a new life, new hope in Dallas. We've seen this before. We saw when LeBron left Cleveland, the Cavs got the number one pick. When the Lakers traded for AD, the Pelicans got the number one pick, took Zion. The Cavs took Kyrie that year when LeBron left and went to Miami. Couple other examples. I'm blanking on a few more. I think LeBron was involved in a few of those, but I think it's great. I think it's great for Cooper Flag. In most situations when you get the number one pick, you go into a team that's not very good, doesn't have a lot of structure. They've been bad for years. There's no direction.
Mm-hmm.
The team and the organization in the city is leaning on this player to completely change everything. It's not realistic. Great players have the opportunity and the skill set to be able to do that, which is what the guys like LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Steph, they go to these franchises and they change it, but it takes a lot of time. It does take a lot of time, and I think now with Cooper Flag going to Dallas, I mean this might be the best situation a rookie has been put in, maybe since Magic. Where Magic, when I think Kareem was there when the Lakers drafted Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't get any better than this. You got a great head coach, great organization. Despite the move for Luka, the trade for trading Luka, still a really good organization. Still got to really have a really good team. Now you look at that starting five when everybody's healthy. That's the only thing now. It's health. Can those guys stay available?
Mm-hmm.
They're both Kyrie, Clay, and AD are 32 plus with injuries. So that is something that you have to monitor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you bring in a guy like Flag, it combines timelines to where you could plan for the future and also plan for the present. I think he's a plug-in player to where he doesn't need to get 20, 25 shots right away. He could still make an impact. He could pretty much do what he did at Duke this year. Get around like 18, 19, 7, 8 rebounds, play defense, gonna have to space the floor. But I just think that this was just a great situation for Cooper Flag. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. I thought Utah would get the number one pick, the Wizards. But it just goes to show, man. I mean, I think the NBA is really trying to make a point to not tank. And you can't really do that in the NFL. I don't think teams tank in the NFL. Why? Because the game is so violent, and these guys, they step onto the field, they're not going in with the intention of trying to lose on purpose.
Right.
Like anything, their life can change with one hit. It doesn't matter what your record is, you're just not good enough. So I hear some people talking about the NFL needs to do the same thing. But the league, the sport is much different. And the players are wired a little bit different, and the organizations are wired differently across the sports league. So I wouldn't agree with the NFL going this route. NBA, they've done it for so long. We even saw the Spurs do it. Remember when David Robinson got hurt?
Yeah,
they mailed it in. they started the tanking. If you really want to talk about it, they mailed it in, and then they got the number one pick and ended up getting Tim Duncan. And the rest is history. 5 championships later. Right. So looking at the rest of this lottery list, San Antonio, they have two top 14 picks. That number 2 pick is very enticing because you could go Dylan Harper, you could go Ace Bailey with that pick. A lot of people are talking. There's been discussions about them trading both picks to try to package something to try to get an all NBA guy. Giannis has been brought up in discussions. People mentioning KD. If you're able to get Giannis, I think you have to jump on that immediately. No question. Milwaukee's going to want these 2 first-round picks and a collection of other players. I just think the best situation for San Antonio, I mean, they're going to have to decide. They have a few months to decide, really up until the draft. I think this draft could be really interesting. I mean, pretty much after Flag goes, I think all bets are off, because even Philadelphia, it's like, do you take a Dylan Harper even though you have McCain and Tyrese Maxey?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that kind of, 3 guys doing the same thing? You got Castle and Fox over there in San Antonio. So do you take Harper? You want to go with the wing? I just feel like Bailey makes the most sense, but they could also feel like they want to make a move to try to contend in the West. They feel like the West is wide open, which I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
We got a 66+ win team going 7 games in a playoff series. So, if you're one of these franchises, you feel like you have the right talent, you can compete with anybody. So if I'm San Antonio, new president Pop, that's operations. A lot of decisions to make. Again, looking at Philly too, I think they should take that. I think they shouldn't trade this pick, because you
think they should?
No, absolutely not. Because of the health of Embiid, the health of Paul George, paying those guys a boatload of money. More than likely, they're not going to be available as much as we want it to be. Hopefully, it's for Sixer fans, it's more than last year. But realistically, Embiid's not. You'd be lucky if Embiid could play 60 games. 60 games is a godsend. Like, if he could get to 60, if you get to 60 games, and hopefully that 60 is more towards the back end of the season and not the front load. That's an ideal scenario for Philadelphia. So I think you keep this pick, because you gotta have somebody to pair up with Maxey down the road. It can't just be Maxey by himself, because then ultimately he'll ask out. It's not set in stone that he'll stay a Sixer for life. This is a different era. So I keep that pick. Charlotte. I mean, for Charlotte, it's just, it really doesn't matter who they draft. I mean, it does matter who they draft. They could bring in a game changer, but also just their culture is just, someone has to come in there and change the culture. It hasn't been LaMelo. It hasn't been Bridges. It hasn't been Miller. They're talented, but they're not culture changers. Until they're able to find that player, I think they'll continue to be where they're at. So, I mean, they've been top 4, top 3 for, it seems like, for the last 6-7 years. Kind of like how the Cavs were when LeBron went to Miami those 4 years. They had 3 number 1 picks. The NBA was gifting them lottery first top 4 picks. Like every year, it seemed like they had Bennett, Wiggins, Kyrie. I'm like, damn. Charlotte, same thing. There's not even this. The difference is just they're just not good. It's not a good organization. So hopefully at 4, man, they could find somebody that could really change this. And Mark Williams is talented when he's out. They have talented players, but they're missing that glue guy. They're missing that glue guy that could go out there and does everything, and they're missing like the Amen Thompson type player.
Yeah.
Like where you literally see him out there doing everything for the team. And you're just and then as a teammate, you're just like, damn, maybe I should try to do the same. Yeah, I got this young guy doing all this. Like maybe I should lock in too. That's what they need. I'm personally glad. I don't have anything against Utah, but I'm glad Flag didn't go to Utah. I didn't want to see him go there. Truthfully, I wanted to see him go to a different franchise. So. Looking honestly, at this, it's nothing too surprising. I mean, number 1 is the most surprising to me, and then like I said, to just sum it up, it's just tanking is not the answer.
And I don't think anybody wanted him to go to Washington Wizards either. Like out of the 2 options, okay, Washington would have been better than Utah, but Washington still, like, I don't know. Like I would have rather seen him at. Dallas, Spurs, Sixers, Hornets, Pelicans, even out of everybody on here. But you know what? Not now that you even say it, is Utah? They're not even. Oh no, they're 5. They're there. I didn't see them. Utah, Atlanta might have been interesting. I think.
Yeah.
Portland, but of course, if it went to Houston, that'd have been crazy.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Flag and Thompson on defense, it might have made it would have made it soften the blow if you would have tried to move Green. It wouldn't hurt as much because you got Flag, you got a franchise guy already. We'll kind of expect Green to become that. You got Green, you would have Flag, Thompson, and Şengün. I mean, that would have been nasty. But like I said, Dallas, Flag, AD, and Lively the second.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Your 3 through 5 is you can switch on everything. Well, Lively's not great on the perimeter, but he's better than most centers. Got switchability pretty much from the 2 to the 4 spot. Defensive minded. Got Najee Marshall, Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's a free agent. Exum is a free agent. They might sign 1 or 2 of those guys, or they might give Hardy the keys to come in and be that backup point guard. He's been kind of knocking on the door for the last few years, so maybe he could get that opportunity now to be a solidified backup PG for Dallas. But they still have some depth. Max Christie coming off, like they have guys. PJ Washington will probably slide to the second unit. So I mean, this team, they get right. They're dangerous. They're very dangerous, man. And
if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, if they can stay healthy. Silver lining it too is just like you just want to see Flag too pick up.
Yep.
In that Maverick jersey. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm glad it shaked out this way because it just adds more intrigue going into next season.
Mm-hmm. Now, and this is just staying on the topic a little bit longer just for the fun of it. Do you think the Spurs could do a 2nd and 14 for number 1?
Dallas said they're not moving. They're not moving
gotcha.
off 1. I mean, it's like, when they say Flag is like the easiest number 1 pick, since I guess Zion or Wembanyama probably.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense, man. You keep this pick, especially after everything that happened this fall and this spring.
Don't do anything, because if you do anything and it fails, you're out of a job.
For sure.
At least this, you say, hey, that's what I was supposed to do, and it happened. So yeah, I'm good with that.
And last thing, and it also fits what Nico Harrison was talking about, right? I mean, they what did they preach? They preached we needed guys to come in here that could play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what he said. Defense win championships. Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont. They both kept reiterating that sentiment, kind of like subliminal messages towards Luka. Flag is a defender. He's known for his two-way ability. So,
you mentioned that Lively can't really switch too much, but I mean, if you got Flag and AD on the floor, you can stay more higher on that 3-point line to contest the jump shot and give up the lane, because you got 2 guys who can roll over and protect the paint still, no matter who's where. So, I mean, I think they can make that work with Lively just kind of saying, okay, I'm still stay on top. If they pull up, I'm here. But if I get burnt, I don't care, because I know I'm going to rotate out and pick up a big, because I've got AD back there and Cooper Flag, who can also protect the rim. So I think you can gamble a little bit with this team if that's what they take. But, I mean, if they don't, they're done. But so, yeah, should be fun to see how this goes. Of course, guys, we got, last week of June, first week of July, usually when the draft is. So we got a while that we see how this pans out and see one person I'm really excited to watch and see how he goes is in the SEC, but he's not who you think. It's no one from Kentucky. Is Walter Clayton Jr. I want to see where he goes. He had a great NCAA tournament. Right now, a 4-day-old report came out on ESPN. They have him at top 25. I think he pushes his way this next month in the top 20, even possibly to the 15. I think he's a guy that I would take a chance with, because he is a scorer. If you watched any of the Florida games, he's a solid player. So that's one player I want to see how much higher he goes, because I think at 25 would be a steal really for him.
Yeah, looking right here, probably won't go top 14, just because looking at all these teams, they have guards. So it's going to be tough for him. Even Washington, you got Jordan Poole, you got Bug Parrington, who really played well his rookie season.
Right. That is true, but I mean, even in the top 20, there's guards that are in there. So I mean, we'll just see how it pans out.
I like Brooklyn. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with D'Lo, Cam Thomas. I mean, I think he could come in there and maybe shake some things up.
Yeah.
I like it. They have a boatload of picks going forward. So
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Of course, let me actually, I didn't pay attention, but at 25, they got them going. This ESPN, whoever wrote it's got them going to Magic. See, I mean, I know him. We'll just see how it goes.
yeah, we'll see, man. That guard spot is tough, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about the lottery draft. We didn't really give all the shocking, I guess, as it was when it happened, but it's had some time to just set in, and we assess what's going on and say, okay, it's Dallas, let's go with it. But the fact that they had, what was it, 1%, I think, to get the number one draft, and they get it.
1.8.
Well, I'm sorry, I forgot that 0.8. That made the big difference there. Yes. So, no, we won't say it's rigged. You all can say that. So, Nick, Knicks right now. What's the fourth quarter yet?
Yeah, just fourth quarter's about to start. It's 92-51.
92-51. So let's go ahead and jump into that and let you talk on it. We've got, of course, the number 2 seed Boston Celtics against number 3, the Knicks. I mean, pretty much they are winning this game, you would think. Of course, Jason Tatum, you know what? I'm going to back up. I'll just let you go. What's going on with this series, and what are your thoughts here?
Last week we talked about the 2 road wins that the Knicks were able to get. I mean, it just, man, those wins were so important, bro. I mean, because this is so important, so important. We're just having a completely different discussion right now. They weren't able to pull out those wins, and it really just, the resiliency of this team is one thing that I've been very impressed with in the postseason. Game 3, I knew Boston was going to come out and play well. I knew they were going to go down 3-0. That's just not realistic. And then we came out in Game 4. It was close. It was close, very close early in the game. And Knicks started to pull away late. Mikal Bridges knocked down some big time mid-range shots. Brunson had 39 and 12 in that home game. And ultimately, the biggest news was Tatum going down with the Achilles. Prayers up to Jason Tatum. Hell of a player. It's just, I just find it incredible how the media now they want to give him his flowers now that he's hurt. But when he was struggling in this series, the type of things people were saying about him was insane. Not saying he wasn't a superstar and all these different type of narratives that the media love to spew. When someone is having a bad series or playing bad, as if that's something that can't happen. But just a tough break, man. To get injured this late in the season, and then for it to be that injury is something that's usually around 10 to 12 months. I mean, you just got to look at KD. I mean, KD probably recovered from the injury better than anybody in sports. Mm-hmm. I mean, he came back it took him a little minute, but it probably took that second year was probably when he got back to being KD. When he first came back, he was still getting his spots, but it wasn't the same. That second year, you were seeing his gear go back to how it was before he got injured. So this is probably a 2-year. Now Tatum is younger than when Durant got it, and it also, Tatum's an Iron Man, doesn't really miss a lot of games. Rarely missed games throughout his career. So this is a tough break, man. Like I said, prayers up to him. This is one of these, him and Dame, getting these injuries so late in the season. It really hurts the organization because now you have expectations because you expect your top guys to be there at the start of the year. So now you have to map things out and view things differently. So for the Celtics, that's it. It's can Jaylen Brown hold it down? Can Jaylen Brown and Porzingis get right? I know Porzingis was, he wasn't 100% in this series, dealing with an illness. They were saying Mazzulla was saying he couldn't breathe at some points. Tough to really evaluate him there when he's still out there trying to play, trying to help his team during the series. But you can obviously see he wasn't himself. But next year they're going to need him to step up and they need at least 20 a night. 20 and 10. You're a 7-3, stretch 5, that can block shots, 2-way stretch 5. you're going to have to step up. Jaylen Brown. I mean, this is an opportunity for him to eliminate a lot of narratives as well. He's definitely going to have to work on his flaws. The handle is a thing. They're going to start to load up on that left side. And if he's not able to make the right reads or sharpen his handle enough so he could be able to keep his dribble alive and probe, it's going to be even more turnovers now, because now the defense is solely focused on you as opposed to it being you and Tatum. So just a different outlook on things right now. For Derek White's going to have to step up. All these guys, Pritchard, everybody that's played well for them regularly is just going to have to take their game to another level. And so whenever Tatum comes back, we just don't know the timeline for that because it's such a tricky injury. So will they sign someone else? Will they make a trade and try to get someone in there to kind of be a stopgap? I think everything is on the table right now. Everything's on the table right now. When your key guy, goes down with that type of injury, I think everything is on the table. So, like I said, prayers up to Tatum, and then for the Celtics outlook, it's just a matter of, can those guys step up enough to be able to hold the fort down in the regular season and in the playoffs? If they're able to do that, then hopefully maybe when Tatum comes back, they could try to make a run.
And let's be honest, Derek White, I mean, he's been having some great games here. How many points did he have last game?
Last game he had 29. This game didn't play so well.
Right, but in games he's stepped up, and even last year, prior years, he's definitely stepped up as a role player to have some really great games, and he even was an all-star, I think. So I'm kind of interested to see if he makes that leap. I didn't ever think he would be able to make a leap to be one of the quote stars for a team here, but he's showing that he can score and he can do these small things and play the defense. So I'm actually interested to see how he plays this coming year, because like you said, Jaylen Brown's going to have a lot of pressure on him. And I used to say Jaylen No Hands Brown, but I try to back off of that since the USA and all that stuff. I'm supporting him now. But Derek White could be a guy that says, you know what, I'm going to be this guard that handles the ball, Jaylen, and kick it out to you to do your thing over there. I might be pushing him much, but I just want to see how it goes, because he's showing that he's a good starting point guard here. So plus the defense that he does as well. And then you do have Drew Holiday. So, they may not be second place at the end of next year until Tatum can get there, but I do think this is still a great team. So I don't know if they're going to be doing too much trading or looking around. If they were to go out, in my opinion, if they were to go out and make up some kind of pick during free agency, it's someone that is high ceiling but low value kind of thing. Like, hey, we just need you to turn up a few games to carry us through. Kind of like in all the basketball movies, the veteran that has no knees left, and all of a sudden he comes out and plays like 10 to 15 games solid, and it's like, okay, now we don't need you no more. Like, someone like that, maybe a just trying to think.
If they want to go younger, they could probably if I see anybody getting moved, it'd probably be Drew. Just because of the age and then the contract. They could look at like Cam Johnson in Brooklyn. I think he kind of matches their timeline a little bit. 6'8". You could slide White to the 1. And then obviously once JT comes back, you could figure out the rest of the rotation. But
right,
I think you need a backup 5. Al Horford is getting up there.
Yes.
You need someone out there that could. It's not a lot of skilled centers in today's NBA, just being honest. There's really not. Most of these guys, all they do is just jump high and dunk and miss free throws. So, and occasionally block shots. Like, they're not even, at least like with Mitchell Robinson, he doesn't do any, he's not a great scorer, but he does, but defensively and getting the offensive rebounds,
right,
he excels at that. A lot of these centers, they don't know how to do anything. So that's probably why they've been holding on to Horford for so long, because there's no but this is where you have to draft.
Yeah,
this is why you have to draft. So you have to start developing these guys because it'll be cheaper, and then we'll really see how good of a coach Mazzulla is. You can develop some of these young guys, late first round picks, second round guys, because and honestly, a lot of those late first round, second round guys, they're well coached. They have a lot of IQ. It's just these teams are so infatuated with with the 19-year-old one and done guys, they all get pushed up to the front of the draft. But that doesn't mean, the 2 to 3 year college guys are bad. So that the NBA, it's just a copycat league. So they got to show up the bench, the rest of that bench. Peyton Pritchard, we know 6th man of the year. I agree. I think, if you're looking at the two players, I said Porzingis just because Porzingis has been a little bit more accomplished than Derek White, but definitely on the perimeter to take some of the pressure off in terms of playmaking and things of that. No question, Derek. I see Derek White being up there. He's a top 10 shooting guard in the league, and great when he's on shooting. I mean, it's tough to stop when he's on a heater, and then plus everything he brings defensively. So, right. I agree. With the Celtics outlook. Just tough, man. I mean, we were up in that game before Tatum got hurt. I mean, we were pretty much on the verge of winning the game. I think we were up like 11 with 3 minutes left on a nice little run there. But it's unfortunate, these things happen. Yeah. And then on the Knicks side, let's go, man. Let's go, man. First Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 25 years.
Crazy.
And
crazy. Yeah. Now, I do want to go back one thing because I wanted to mention this about the Celtics. I have been seeing stuff on Twitter now, which blows my mind, that has they're basically asking with Tatum's injury, is his prime over? And I'm just like, okay, he's what, 27 at the most?
27, yes.
So, I mean, yes, it's an Achilles, and that's a bit much, and it's going to be a year away, but to say his prime is done now, like, why has Tatum got so much hate? I won't say hate, but no love.
Well, I mean, he plays for the Celtics. A lot of people do not like Boston Celtics. I think really that's the majority of it, because outside of that, I think that's really what it is, because outside of that, I really don't see what you could possibly hate on him for. Look at the accomplishment. Look at the things that he's accomplished so far in the league before the age of 30. I mean, it's right up there with the greats. So I think it's because he's a Celtic, man. I really don't feel like it has anything else to do with anything else other than that. And he's a great player. Great player on the Celtics.
So what have you been most surprised about by your Knicks?
What I've been most surprised about? I'll say our defense. I think I was very, very concerned at the start of the series of how we would play defense, because the way Boston, the way they get those threes up and they attack the paint and start kicking it out and knocking down wide open threes. If we weren't able to rotate and communicate, step up on the screen, it was going to be hell for us, man. I was really concerned about that. But watching those first 2 games and seeing how they were able to, what they did to come back, stepping up on the screen, getting back, showing just a little bit on the weak side, just until your guy gets back, hands up, not reaching. I've been impressed, especially tonight too. I mean, they came out, so that second quarter was special. That second quarter was special. The way they attacked the Celtics, pretty much telling them, not this year. This is not your year, bro.
No,
it's clipped. So I've been impressed. I've been impressed with their defense. Cat, for the most part, more than anyone, because someone, PJ Tucker, one of these coaches, just step up on the screen, bro, and trust yourself. Trust you, like you're an athlete, bro. Trust yourself, and more times, and give yourself space so you're not like completely swarming them, because he's gonna blow by you because they're faster,
right?
And just slide your feet and try to send them to the help, bro. You got to guard, bro. You got to guard in this league. You can't hide forever. Yeah. You can't be hidden forever. It's 5-on-5. So our tenacity at the point of the screen, I've been very impressed with. Because that's really how Boston kills you. I mean, they put you to sleep. You dare go drop coverage just a couple times. It's curtains.
Okay, so let's pause our conversation about the Knicks moving forward, and let's go on over to the other game that went on in the East. And, of course, it's really a sad day that we talk about this, but the number 1 in the East Cleveland Cavaliers lose 4-1 to the Indiana Pacers, who pretty much were complete dominant against them. What's your thoughts on this one? Of course, before you got it pulled up here, of course, the first game, the Pacers 121-112, Pacers 120-119, close game there. Then Cavaliers take game 3 on the road, 126-104, and then Pacers again back to back here with 129-109, and then 114-105. Whew! What is that? 1, 2, 3, 3 times out of the 5 games touching the 120s. Wow!
Yeah, they're
with a team that's known for defense.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. A team that's known for defense. Man, they were just missed. It's not one person to blame when you lose a disappointing series like this. A lot of people expect them to win this series. I picked them to win this series. But the Pacers, they just have a different type of identity, man. I think that it really goes. It's probably not seen as much in the regular season. They don't have a lot of televised games.
No.
So we're not really seeing this team play, in these marquee matchups during the season. So when the playoffs come around and the games get tight and you're only playing one team every other day, you see everything in this capacity. And this team, they fight. They have depth. They play fast. They really just try to run. They try to run you off the floor. Literally, they play very fast. They run you off the floor. Your transition defense has to be incredible. Just because you score, you can't celebrate. You have to get back. And if you're not prepared for that, and if you don't have the right conditioning, you're going to get tired.
Yep.
And that's really what I've seen. I mean, they've kind of offset the kind of that double big lineup that the Cavs that have excelled with Allen and Mobley. And with their speed, they took one of those guys off the floor. And when you take one of those guys off the floor, you're taking off a double with a couple block and a half a game. Like that's legit impact you're taking off the floor with your scheme. And the Cavs really didn't have a counter to that for the most part. Darius Garland did miss some time in this series.
Yep.
DeAndre Hunter and Mobley, they missed a game, but they still put themselves in a big hole. That game 2 was really the one where it was just a deflation.
Yep.
For the Cavs, because they were up 20 and then they blew the lead. Tyrese gets the ball back after missing the free throw. It's a step back 3 to ice it. I mean, on the road, that was one where it's just like, yeah, man, it's just tough for me to see them really get out this hole. Even though I felt like if the Cavs would be able to respond, they did a solid job of responding in game 3. Donovan Mitchell had like 45. But this Pacer team is great. They have some really good players. Nembhard starts off with Halliburton, Siakam, Toppin. Miles Turner had one of the best series I've seen him play in his career, maybe. I mean, he might have had the best playoff series of his career against the Cavs in this round. I was really impressed with the way he was playing. He was active on both ends, knocking down timely shots, not getting in foul trouble, not settling for threes, but still spacing the floor at an efficient. Like he did a solid job, and that was the one thing where I just feel like the Cavs had an advantage at that front court spot based on what we saw. But the Siakam and Turner, they were great. They were great, and everybody else followed suit. Neesmith, Mathurin, and they have guys that are ready to go. They come off the bench. They know what they need to do, and if you're not prepared for that, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. Just as great as Donovan Mitchell is, he can't be your best player. Can't be your best player. As great as he is, it's either he can't be your best player or they need to find. Or I don't know how many years we're going to keep saying Mobley hasn't taken
right.
It's like our 3rd year saying that, bro.
Right. And see, that's what I was actually going to mention was, I think he can be your best player, but the gap between the second player can't be that big. Because, if you're scoring 34 points a night, or on average 34 points, and you're still not breaking 100 on some of these games, like that's where someone else got to take that pressure off. Because, if any game that I'm playing in a series and I've got someone that's scoring over 30 points, I'm thinking, okay, so next time we play them, our scheme's going to change a little bit where we know where Donovan Mitchell is, and let's start doubling a little bit. Let's keep him off of his rhythm. Where does he like get the ball at to attack at? So let's see if we can push him to the other side, you know. And then you got to have that Garland who, you know, we mentioned already missed some time, who's got to take over and get some of those points. So I feel like Donovan Mitchell has a lot on his back with this team. And, of course, number one in the East through the regular season. But it's hard for one man to stay hot for at least 4 games like that, putting up all those points. So, I mean, that's one reason why I've said all year that I think he should be in that MVP conversation just because he did do a lot for this team by himself. Many games he had 30s and 40s points. So, I mean, yeah, somebody's got to step up at some point and say, hey, I'm going to be a scorer too and be, you know, Robin here because we don't know who he is. Like, is it a defensive guy who's in the front court that's got the height, or is it Garland, like we've always said here, that it has to be? But Mobley is probably that guy, but he's more, hey, I'm going to shot block or rebound. He's got offensive threats, but when you got Donovan Mitchell doing everything that he's doing, it's hard for a big to get into that flow. So that's one thing I think Cavaliers got to really look at. I won't say change or anything, but maybe address like, hey, Donovan's going to get his, but we've got to have those guys be able to help out and step up to be that number 2 or a standout, I guess.
Yeah, they need a clear-cut number 2. I probably should have phrased it that way. I probably should have said it that way. They need like it's very glaring. Game 7, everybody sees to the chip. Hey, one step at a time, my brother. One series at a time, man. One series at a time. Let's get 4, and we're worried about the next 4. But great win tonight. But yeah, listen, it's kind of like the Jazz. I mean, it's just like when he was on the Jazz. It was like, all right, Donovan averaged 37 in the series. Remember, he was in the bubble. He was averaging 37 in the series, something like 35. And then every game, and it went to 7 games. That series went to 7 against Denver.
Yep.
And we were just saying, like, okay, who's the Joe Ingles was the second best player. So I'm just like, yeah, bro, Royce O'Neal, it's not cutting it. It's not cutting it. And Garland, you know, he's talented. He does some special things out there. Had an incredible pass that they won in one of these games. But just I don't see the consistency. He's not a willing defender. He needs to get stronger. Because you're going to be out there on that island. The one thing I'll say about Brunson, like, yes, Brunson is smaller, but he's not a cone. Like, he'll defend. Like, he's willing to put his body on the line for the team. He'll draw charges for the team. I don't really see that from Garland. I kind of see him floating around. And if he's not getting his shot, how else is he impacting the game if his shot's not going in? It's a glaring question, man. And I know Mobley, he did get better this year, won Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
So I'm just expecting now the scoring to take it to another level too. Okay, the 1 DPOY, well deserved. Now we need the PPG to increase. If it could be Mitchell and Mobley, and then everybody else fill their part, now you've got something. But if it's Mitchell and a bunch of question marks, this is what you get. And I think Tyree and the Pacers, they know their hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's Halliburton, then Siakam, then probably Nembhard / Turner, and then everybody else just get in where they fit in. If they're hot, they get the rock. It's a little bit. It was too many question marks, and it was something I really didn't expect to see. But the Pacers did a great job of exposing it. Man, you got to give them a lot of credit. Fantastic job. I've been impressed with them. They probably them in Minnesota have been the most impressive teams.
Oh yeah,
playoffs so far. They've done a great job.
And the Pacers since last year, like the mid-season tournament, everybody's like, okay, the Pacers are in that, and now they've continued to impress us really. Yeah. But I want to ask you this: does Donovan Mitchell may need to change his way of playing? I mean, I know he's still 5.8 assists, but maybe does he need to be a facilitator a little bit more of, hey, I'm going to get mine when I need to, but I've got to get other guys scoring here, so they have to respect him. Should he be trying to get 10 assists a game?
And sure, you can always improve. And yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. I was at a point even when he was with the Jazz. I was saying he should slide to the point guard spot, literally, because they didn't have any other. Just because of the fact they didn't have anybody else that could do anything. So I'm like, I put him at the 1, and then you could find a 2 and 3 to develop with Gobert.
Yeah,
we know that didn't happen. So Garland is supposed to be that playmaker type scorer here and there. While Mitchell, he's a good passer. He's a solid passer. But he's not known for like his playmaking and to be a lead guard.
Right.
Would like to see him improve in areas, but he was doing the best he can. These guys weren't making shots. Tyler Jerome, who had a great regular season, he didn't play well. Max Strus had moments, he didn't play well. Dean Wade, Merrill, all these. That's what I'm saying. That like in the regular season, all these guys, there's no pressure. It's pressure, but it's not as much pressure.
Yeah.
As the postseason, especially when you're the 1 seed. Everybody's expecting you to go to the finals. They're expecting you to sweep through these guys. It was supposed to be you and the Celtics. All that stuff these players are thinking about, and games get tight, and you fold. Mitchell was there. Mitchell was there to the end. These other guys were not. They brought in DeAndre Hunter. He's a good player, but he's not a game changer. Maybe with the full season in Cleveland, maybe that could be a little bit different. Maybe he could ultimately be that small forward and Strus could come off the bench. I don't know. I mean, I had high expectations for Hunter since he got drafted out of Virginia. He's been a good player, but he's had a good career. But I don't know if he's that piece that takes them over the hump. So, like I said, this series to me was more about Indiana. It's just, just how they play, and like they play defense, but they also play fast, and they have grit. They got some dogs. They're not a finesse team. Like, even though, like I said, they play up and down, but they're not a finesse team. And it's gonna be a tough challenge for New York, no question.
My bad, Tank. I didn't realize you had put some more comments in there. Of course, she says Donovan needs to get out of Cleveland, like LeBron did, the franchise basketball equivalent to the Bengals or the Browns, which is Cleveland. And of course, he was saying that Halliburton's all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
Yep. So we've talked about these two matchups. So let's go ahead. Do you want to go over to the West and talk about those and then jump into the finals? Or let's just go ahead and stick with these. Do it that way? Okay.
Yeah, so that way. Yeah.
All right, so let's go over to the West Coast where we got Minnesota I'm going to say taking on Golden State. Of course, the series is over. Number 6 against 7. And, man, I thought this was going to be a little bit better of a series. Of course, it's 4-1 series. Let's just say it. Minnesota is definitely playing out. Anthony Edwards is taking over the NBA, in my opinion. And so, first game, we got Golden State 99-88. Golden State then loses to 117-93. They 4 in a row after that. So then we got 102-97, 117-110, and then 121-110 again. Anthony Edwards averaging 26 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Somewhat flirting with a triple-double. And, of course, Butler was their man on for the Warriors, averaging 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Do we say anything about the Warriors, or this is just straight up the Timberwolves? Basically what we're saying with the Pacers, like the younger guys were playing better in all these series right now.
Man, I thought we were going to get at least 1 or 2 playoff Jimmy moments. We were 0 for 2. 0 for 2. we didn't get one, especially with Steph going out. Game 3 and 4 were really there for the taking for Golden State. They had some lapses in that fourth quarter. It was Minnesota. They're just on a different tear right now with their 8-2, in the 10 playoff games. That's a hell of a record, man. That's a hell of a record, and you're knocking out 2 teams where people thought they would represent the West or get to the conference finals, in the Lakers and the Warriors. Yes, we know Stephen Curry got hurt with the hamstring, and that kind of softens the series matchup for me a little bit, because I did want to see Steph versus Ant-Man, back and forth, similar to what we're seeing in Denver and OKC between two excellent players. But again, these things happen. These things happen, and it just wasn't Golden State season. They had some moments in Game 3 and 4 to definitely maybe win it. Steph said he would have been ready for Game 6 had there been one. But Golden State those guys weren't able to do enough to get it done. Man, Julius Randle. I mean, we think about a postseason MVP. I mean, he has to be up there. I mean, Brunson, Halliburton. I mean, I would have him top 3. Top 3, like if you do like a postseason MVP type of thing, man. Just for the simple fact that, listen, man, he's motivated. We all know the narratives and how he didn't have a great playoff run a couple years in New York, but Randall and Edwards, it seems like they have great chemistry. They genuinely, rock with each other. They genuinely seem cool. And when that's the case, then basketball is easy. Basketball is easy, right. And that's what I like to see. More importantly, because people did have questions. People did think Randall was this type of guy where he didn't get along with teammates just because of how he plays sometimes and his demeanor on the court kind of gives off a certain vibe. And even though that's never been the case, no one's ever said anything about Randall being a bad teammate. So it's been fun to watch. He's getting to the basket. He's knocking down his shots. He's still showing that he's a great leader, playing defense. That was the thing too. I mean, I didn't see a lot of that in New York, but Chris Finch has been able to unlock that level for him defensively. And I always felt like he could have been a hell of a defender. He could switch out, do a multitude of things at 6'9". So I mean, he's just showing his full display as a basketball player. And he, like I say, he's one of the best power forwards in the league. It's been that way for the last 5 years. And here we go, Minnesota back to the conference finals, just like Indiana. Yep. It's like you said, back to the conference finals. I mean, no one expected it. If you would have told me 2 years ago that the Timberwolves would be in the conference finals 2 years in a row, I'd be like, I didn't see it. It didn't make sense to me. But when you just think about how competitive the Western Conference is, man, it's just a matter of who gets hot at the right time. Mm-hmm. Who gets hot at the right time. And they're one of these teams, man. T-Wolves and Pacers, man. They've been the hottest teams that we've seen in a very long time. Their ability to close games. They're not afraid of whoever they're facing because of their star player is fearless. And Edwards and Halliburton, young guys, American. It's if you're a Timberwolves fan, man, you got to be excited. I mean, you probably haven't had this much excitement since Garnett and Marbury.
Garnett, yep.
Yeah, for a couple Spreewell when he was there, a couple call for those couple years when they went there and made it competitive. But this is different. This is different, man. Got a diamond in the rough, and it looks like it ended up being a great trade. That Cat Randall trade. I mean, both teams are in the conference finals.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hey, the stars aligned. We could see a Knicks T-Wolves finals. That'd be crazy.
That'd be good storylines.
Crazy.
Yeah. And one thing too I was thinking of is, this is the same year that we had where Anthony Edwards was calling out his team for being soft or being weak, at the beginning of the year. And, they answered back to it. We talked about that many times, like, we'll see what they go from here. Because we thought, I said that I thought it was a little bit of a prick move by doing it on social, in front of a media there. That way it's everywhere. Like, that's a conversation in the locker rooms that you have with everyone. But you said, hey, they're men, and we got to see how they react. And, man, they reacted obviously pretty well. So, I mean, he spoke, he led, and he's still leading. So, I mean, this is a great story for what they're doing, especially in Minnesota. So, yeah.
And Edwards seems like the type of guy that, like, even though he says it in the media, more times than not, his teammates heard it first. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
So, like, you're right. I forgot about that. He said we're playing soft. And they responded in the best way. They're 30-6 in their last 36 games. 30-6.
Wow.
I mean,
in the West as well.
Yeah, exactly. In the West, 6 seed. It's just like it just doesn't matter where you're seated, bro. If you got two dudes, you in the West, you need two guys, no doubt. So I'm a little bit scared about OKC a little bit if they do advance, because like I said, Minnesota, they have two guys every night they could go to get 25 bucket. OKC not so much. Even though they have a bunch of really good players. So get 30-6 in your last 36 games. I mean,
that's tough.
You're locked in. You're locked in.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this one more time, and then I'll talk about Golden State's outlook going into next season. Chris French, man. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of talk. It's not like Steve, because it doesn't have a championship. I mean, the championship it eliminates all narratives. This guy's one of the best coaches in the league. I don't think no one expected him to be this great going into the Timberwolves. They had a revolving door of head coaches for the last few years. They're in that Cat Wiggins, Levine, Butler time. There was so many different. They had they had Flip Saunders' son, Tibbs, all these different type of guys, and they found the right one, and that's what really started it all. Like that, once you get that voice. And then everybody else respects you, and then the best player respects you as well. It's just a perfect relationship and a perfect connection. That's what we've seen so far in Minnesota. And for a small market city, for that town, for them to have success right now, I think it's great. It's great for the league. Golden State, what do they need? I mean, a lot of people are saying that they need a shooting big that can play defense, and they said they need a. People say they need a shooting big and a playmaking perimeter defender. I'm like, where are those at? Where are those at just on the market? Because I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it. Gonna have to start. I mean, shouldn't that be Kuminga? Shouldn't Kuminga be one out of the two?
Yeah.
And that was so weird to me, man. Kerr only played Kuminga because Steph got hurt. He was going to be DNP the whole series. And then he comes in there and he's, dunking on people and making plays. And then you kind of see like why he doesn't, I don't think he deserves DNPs because it's not like they have that much depth. Archie Blue Sky, yes, sir. They don't have that much depth to where like they don't need him. But it was just a weird dynamic, man. It was just a weird dynamic. The exit interviews, he said he talked with Kerr. And Kerr told him even after the game against the Timberwolves in Game 5, we want to have you back. We want to, give you more opportunities. It all sounds good. It all sounds good because I mean that draft class when they drafted Moody and Kuminga, I thought by this point at least one or two of those guys would be. Moody's a starter. I thought both guys would propel themselves and put themselves in the starting lineup. And if they start to give Kuminga some more opportunities, he's the best athlete on the team. He needs to improve as a defender with that athleticism. He's still fairly young. I think he's like 22, 23. So if you're gonna trade him, you want to make sure you get at least a fringe all-star type player back. And then got to be under 30. That player you bring in has to be under 30 because you can't have say you can't do DeRozan and for Kuminga or someone like that. You can't make that type of trade because now your window is literally like a year, 2 years. So best case scenario for Golden State, if they were to move someone like Kuminga in a sign and trade, you got to get someone back that's kind of at least under the age of 30, that 27 to 28 range. Pods is going to get better. Looking at the rest of their starting five, yeah, Moody and Pods, they have to improve. Like, I mean, they have to improve, and because those are going to be the players that people sag off because you got to worry about Steph. So they have to work on their game, or every aspect of their game they have to improve. And I think once they do that, that'll help increase Curry's window Because that's what it's all about now, right? That's what it's all about for Golden State is how long can you keep the window open for Stephen Curry? And with him getting hurt and kind of, getting a flat tire this late in the season, you brought in Jimmy Butler for him to, win these type of games. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so in this series. Buddy Hield is calm, but he's not a player that you can depend on.
Right.
He's too streaky. He's way too streaky. Great shooter, but too streaky. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how up and down he is. When he's on, good luck. But when he's off, it's bad. And then he doesn't play great defense. So it can get nasty. It can get nasty out there for Hill. So this draft is big for Golden State. And then on the market, I mean, I guess we'll see who comes about. I mean, obviously guys get waived and people get moved. They need to make a couple more moves, especially if they want to contend, because the West is getting better every single season. And these guys are younger and better. And Golden State wants to continue to stay in the mix. They got to make a couple more acquisitions.
Yeah, I mean, you've said everything as far as the Golden State. Like, Tank here made the comment about they need KD back. That's obviously always going to be the conversation, KD back. But I agree with what you say. They need to go younger because they need to keep Steph as long as they can. If you go in for like a veteran of that source or that style of a KD, you're saying, Steph, we only can have you for about another 3 years at the most, if that long, with that time frame. So yeah, I think you got to go for somebody younger. And I mean, could it be even a point guard that you go for? Like, okay, Steph, you're doing a lot. Let's move you to shooting guard. Let's almost move you into the Clay-like. Obviously, Steph is still going to have the ball in his hands doing a lot, but you're the best shooter in the league. Let's get you more shots off of running around. And then, okay, this guy's creating, kicking to you. Because that's going to make him in the league a lot longer. But if you're going for a KD, you're still asking a lot of Steph at the point guard position, in my opinion. So I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do in the draft or whatever, but they might really need to consider like a point guard potential on this. Like almost what they did with Chris Paul, but they should have went younger with that. I don't know.
They got
why
Pods. They got Brandon Podzinski. They got him right there at the shooting guard spot, and they got Moody at the 3.
Right.
So those are like their young backcourt pieces, homegrown. And like I said, maybe they make a move to try to get a guard in there, like a solidified guy, consistent guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that 3 to 4 spot, that small forward spot, power forward. That's probably where they need to improve at, because Draymond is getting older.
Oh,
and to me, I mean, that's probably one of the big things. I mean, yeah, of course, there's no replacing Steph, but finding someone, when Draymond, gets older and isn't able to lock in the way he has in years past, replacing that is difficult too.
Yep.
Is the versatility and the leadership on that end, the IQ, the playmaking.
There's a chance. Well, I ain't gonna say because that may be way out there, but it's gonna be. Which one do you think is gonna be more? All right, let me say it this way, because Steph is number one, obviously. How close do you think it is with Steph and Draymond as far as replacing them on that level? Because Draymond brings so much in the mental part, not the fighting mental, but as far as understanding the game and what goes on, it's almost irreplaceable.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to replace Draymond.
Okay.
Yeah, well, definitely easier to replace.
We had the discussion in prior years.
It's not. I'm not saying it's like very easy, but if you're talking about Steph and
well, that's what I'm asking. How close do you think they are? Nothing, or I mean, respectively, they're kind of close. Because we said last year they got to get rid of one. If it's going to be Draymond or Clay, which one would you rather get rid of? And we all said Clay because Draymond brings so much more as far as defense, offensive, setting things up, and knowing what's going on in the game. And that's what set him apart. But Steph is bounds higher than that.
Yeah, I would say 70-30 at this stage. Okay. I would say 70-30. Yeah, last year I felt like it was more like 80-20 Draymond between him and Clay. But I think now, I mean, both guys are 35 plus. Steph will be 38 next year.
Excuse me.
They got to figure some stuff out quickly.
Tank says, if you get a point guard that can in the playoffs get 5 fouls or get fouled 5 times in 9 minutes and still close the series despite dealing with the defending champs.
Talk about Brunson.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. So I think we've talked about these two teams enough, don't you?
Yeah, yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Like I said, congrats to the T-Wolves going to the Western Conference Finals again. And
the two teams that are in the conference
be the favorites. I said 30 and 6. I mean,
it's hard to say no to that.
Yeah, man.
But the other series that we have that's still technically going, are they playing today or is it tomorrow?
Sunday.
Okay, Sunday.
Game 7 is on Sunday, yeah.
Gotcha. So, of course, we got Oklahoma City Thunder against the Denver Nuggets. Series is tied 3-3. And Aaron Gordon, I think, is out now.
Doubtful with the hamstring, more than likely out. Yeah.
Okay. So that's detrimental for them, in my opinion, on this. Maybe we'll see Michael Porter Jr. do what we said that he should be doing this whole time. But anyways, so, of course, I'm not going to go through the scores this time, guys, but Nuggets was first, Thunder second, Nuggets third, Thunder the fourth, Thunder the fifth, Nuggets the sixth. Now we got Game 7 Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Why ain't that a later game? But, it's all right. It's a Sunday game. I mean, it's been MVPs against MVPs in this 20 or basically 30 points for Jokic with 14 and 5, with SGA going with 29, 7 and 7. So basically triple doubles for them, flirting with that every game. Man, it's been a nip and tuck. It's been back and forth constantly. Every game has been somewhat close. Now the Thunder, the 149 over 106 in game 2 was a blowout, but the rest of them has been back and forth a lot. Nuggets did win 119 to 107 last game, but there's been games where I like, okay, Thunder's got this one. There's no point in watching it. And then I look back at it and, okay, the Nuggets now have the lead. It's just back and forth constantly. It's a big chess match, in my opinion, on this. Guard heavy against big heavy here. Who's going to do what? What's the matchups you're going to go with? And who's going to prevail? With that being said, the front courts is the Nuggets' strong favor there. Of course, Jamal Murray has been phenomenal as well, but losing Aaron Gordon, I think, could be what makes the Nuggets lose. And I hate to say that, but, it is next man up league, but we'll see how it goes. So what's your thoughts on these so far?
Living up to the hype. I think we both had this series going 7. I had Oklahoma City in 7. It's just lining up perfectly to my prediction. It's just, what we've seen from OKC. I'll start for OKC. They have moments where they're searching for that second guy. I believe the second, but if Oklahoma City wants to get to where they want to get to, Chet Holmgren has to be the second best player. Mm-hmm. Chet Holmgren has to be the second best player. I think he was 8 for 14 last night against the Nuggets. Got to take more shots. If you see Jalen Williams is going 3 for 17, you see he's not having a good night.
Yep.
You're having a good night. You're knocking down shots. You're efficient. You got to go attack the basketball, man. You can't just You just can't stand in the corner and wait for the ball to get to you. You have to attack. And that's what I need to see a little bit more from Chet. I need him to score a little bit more because his scoring with his defense is more impactful. At his size, is more impactful. So Oklahoma City wants to go anywhere. I truly believe that the second best player on the team has to be Chet Holmgren. There were talks before. People were saying that Chet should be a third option, things of that nature. I don't think so. You're a top 2 pick. Like you're a top 3 pick in the draft, and you're a couple years in the league. We shouldn't be having no third option conversations. Like you should be a top 2 option. And I believe he could be that guy. I think once they really solidify that, I mean they're already dangerous. But in the offs, like you have to answer those questions. And I think that's similar to why we kind of seen this back and forth because Oklahoma City had moments in this game. I mean, in these series where they could have closed it out earlier, but they faded in the fourth quarter. Denver, same thing too. I mean, I look at the game against. I look in game 5. I think they were up by like 7. They blew the lead, and OKC was just able to weather the storm and then knock down shots late. SGA came in there and closed the show. yesterday. It was, a big game for Denver. Julian Strother, they had 15 points, 4 threes. Peyton Watson played well. Christian Braun had a hell of a game. They're going to need him in Game 7. Shit, I mean, they're going to need everybody in Game 7, man.
Yeah.
They're going to need everybody, especially with Gordon being out. Gordon that's a big loss. That's a big loss.
Yeah,
because he's efficient, and then he gets you a double-double, and he can defend. And if you don't have that out there, he brings different energy. I mean, he's helped win them games in this series and in the last series. So he's clutch. So not having him out there is a big loss for the Nuggets, and it could be the reason why they lose. But I'm expecting Jokic to have an all-timer. I mean, listen, you had a 60-point triple-double in the regular season. I mean, if this is the last game of your season, you need to go all out, brother. Go all out. You are an all-time great, but that doesn't mean we can't see an all-time performance in a loss. Not saying that they're gonna. I believe they will lose, but if they want to make it, if they want to be able to get the dub, Jokic has to at least get around 40. Has to get 40. You have to. In a way, you might have to double. He's averaging 30 right now.
With 14
with 14 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, he got the assists have been down, and Oklahoma City has done a really good job of keeping one on Jokic and then getting back really quickly because they have athletes, they have young guys. So it's not, those aren't slow rotations, and they communicate, and they do a great job of that. And Jalen Williams, Hartenstein, and Chet, that was a question for me, how they were going to be able to contain Jokic. They made it tough. Little shots that he's so accustomed to making right there, that little floater, that little 9 to 10 foot little push shot that he makes all the time, wasn't making those shots as often. They've been really physical with him. They're making him move around on defense. And when he's moving around and on defense more than usual, he's going to miss those shots on offense because he's a little bit tired. And that's really how you have to play him. And they've done a really solid job of that, just putting him through all these different type of actions when OKC is on offense. I mean, it's set up perfectly. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna show that they deserve to win MVP?
Yeah.
Now they haven't announced it yet. They usually announce MVP in the second round. Mm-hmm. But I think with this series being so back and forth, I think they're probably going to hold off on it. I feel like the NBA is hoping for OKC to win, so then they could give SGA the award in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. So I think that that's a great aesthetic graphic. But like I said, the Nuggets could play spoiler easily come out there and play spoiler. I don't think that happens. I'm going with Oklahoma City.
I'm with you, honestly. And before this series took off, I mentioned that they need to Oklahoma Thunder need to limit Jokic's assists, because usually his assists are kickouts for threes. And I feel like they have been trying to do that to keep honestly minimizing the point production of Jokic. Yeah, he scores 30, but without the 10 assists of threes, that's another 30 points almost. So by limiting the assists lowers the shot rate from the 3-point line as well. So, or the quantity anyway. So I'm glad they listened to our podcast and knew exactly what to do, because, I gave them the blueprint on that. So that's working out well. Well, I mean, it's 3-3, but yeah, I'm with you on what you say. I think SGA is also going to have a great game here. I think this is, like you said, they're both coming out to battle, and we might see 2 triple doubles out of these two guys going head to head for the final. So losing big, maybe Chet could step up, because not having Aaron Gordon there, they do lose some size. I don't think they'll be bringing in DeAndre Jordan for that spot at all. So, I mean, if they did, that go big, and I think that would be more beneficial for Golden State as well, or OKC, because, like you said, they're younger, they're faster. They would feast on that. So, I mean, who do you think they play? To me, I think Michael Porter Jr. goes to the 4, and you bring in another guard. That way you also can combat their speed that they have as well. So that would be what I do. Maybe we can get Michael Porter Jr. off the 3-point line and really see him thrive at what he can do more. So That would be my answer to it. We'll have to see how it goes, but I'm going to OKC just because I think Aaron Gordon is a huge factor for that team and their offense and what they do as far as their communication. Being always at that dunker spot, you got to have someone there with Jokic how he plays. So I think it might take them some time, but then again, it could be new face. OKC don't know what to really react to on their game plan because they don't have Aaron Gordon. So, but I'm going with OKC, and I wouldn't be surprised if Nuggets won as well.
So you think their starting lineup is going to be Murray, Brown, Westbrook, MPJ, and Jokic? I think they might go Watson. They might put Watson out there to start.
I think Watson. I mean,
they probably put Watson at the 4. I don't think many people want to see MPJ at the 4 spot. He's not as active as he should be. I agree. Like, I see what you're saying. Like put him in the spot to where like he has no choice but to do those things. But it's like, damn, bro, if you're not doing it now, and you're not going to champion,
right? Yeah, I agree.
Now, hope in the best case scenario, he could definitely go out there and have a great game. I think that should be expected. I mean, like I said, look what Aaron Gordon. He helped win them that series against the Clippers. I mean, that game winner he got. I mean, that was the difference right there. They don't win that. They lose that series if he doesn't get that game winning dunk. The game winning 3 in game 1. This series is over if he doesn't knock down that 3. So other guys need to step up. Strother, Watson, Westbrook, MPJ. Those four players have to play well on Sunday to replace that scoring and pretty much the scoring and just the defense and the energy that AG brings to that lineup. So very, very interesting. Very interesting dynamic here. I mean, it changes a lot, man. It's just again, like I said, injuries suck, bro. Injuries suck so much. Running to see both teams at full strength go at it in that game 7. Yeah, it is what it is.
So listen, we only got one more topic to go at because the other series isn't finished yet. So let's jump back over to the Eastern Conference Finals. And instead of having a number 1 or a number 2, we've got number 3 versus number 4, and that is the New York Knicks, the Patrick Ewings against the Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller time. Back in the 90s, we are living it back up in the Eastern Conference Final, and I am here for this. So obviously you are a Knicks fan, as you got the colors already on here. Who you think is the favorite in this series?
Favorite? I mean, listen, based on how both teams have played, it's very close. Very close. Because the Knicks have had some phenomenal wins, but the Pacers had some great wins too. They both got 2 wins on the road against the top 2 seeds in the East. So I think the Knicks are probably favored because we do have better players. We have better players. Both teams have been playing exceptionally well and route to the conference finals. But I think I'm going with this. It doesn't matter who Vegas picks. I'm going with the home team in this one. This is a fun series. We can see if we get back from last year in the second round. Last year we were decimated by injuries in this series. Part of it had to do with how the Pacers play, and how they try to, like I said, they try to run you to the ground, man. They try to really test your strength and conditioning for all 4 quarters. I think this time is different. Yes, we had so many players out last year. Brunson broke his hand in game 7. Hart was out with the abdominal. Robinson, OG, Randall. It was just too many injuries for the Knicks squad to handle. But I think now this year with Bridges and Towns, the way I've seen Towns play defense in that series against the Celtics, I'm expecting him to do the same thing. He has to outplay OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns have to outplay Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner. Hands down. And they should, especially Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns can't have these He's looking at the two losses that we had. I mean, I think he had what 10 points and 15 points. It's not good enough. Oh no, he had 19 and 7 in game 5, but a lot of those points came in garbage time. We're already getting smoked. So he has to be great in this series. Get to the back, do exactly what he did. In this series, go to the basket, and then work, and then get the 3-point. Then to get the 3-point line, you got to get Miles Turner in foul trouble. Once you get Miles Turner in foul trouble, they don't have another guy out there that should be able to guard Anthony Towns. Now, in the same breath, Karl Anthony Towns has to stay out of foul trouble his damn self, because he has a problem of reaching, getting quick fouls, and now he's out of a rhythm. I got the Knicks in 6.
Okay.
I think these games are going to be close. It's going to be competitive. But I just trust our guy. I trust Brunson in the fourth quarter to make the right plays. I think OG Anunoby probably want to get a little get back. You know what I mean, and try to respond after because he got hurt in game 3 last year. So it's a pretty internal motivation. He was playing well. He was cooking. He was cooking in the series. I was like, yo, bro, we might go some places. So I expect him to play well in this series also. Toppin, I can see Toppin being a pretty annoying. TJ McConnell is very annoying. He always finds and always has some good games against the Knicks. That Deuce McBride, TJ McConnell matchup coming off the bench, that guard spot is going to be very key. TJ McConnell was okay cooking Deuce McBride last year. So McBride played great against the Celtics this series. I expect him to continue that against Indiana. So, like I said, competitive series, but I'm going with the home team, of course. Home team, man. Yes. Listen, man. Hey, man, this could be a special season. We're gonna see though. Like I said, not finished yet. Indiana, like they've been the underdogs since the entire playoffs, right? They got that underdog mentality. We even though we're not ranked as an underdog, even though this is a 3-4 seed, both teams have been counted out. I feel like Indiana more so than the Knicks, just based on who they faced en route to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I do not like the Pacers. They got one on us last year, and we need to respond and get it back and try to get to the finals for the first time in 25 years. Wow.
So
I never thought I was saying that, bro. Crazy.
At the end of the day, I can honestly say I did not think either one of these teams would be here. Three of the 4 teams that are in the conference finals, I did not think would be there. So that's awesome for the NBA, in my opinion. I love it when it's an underdog story. And of course, to you, it's probably not so much an underdog story, but the fact that it was Boston or Cleveland, and that was it, basically in the East. We knew Knicks were competitors, but that's about as far as we really thought, or I thought, anyways. Let me back up and say that, because you probably thought the Knicks were better than both of the teams. So I think it's cool that we have these 2 matchups, but man, it's really hard to go against Pacers, and I'm not just trying to do that against you, just so we have some kind of conversation that way. But the way that they score and then make you play their type of ball is difficult. Now, I want to say this, in saying that my X factor for this game for the Knicks is actually Tom Thibodeau. If he can come up with the game plans to make sure to slow that offense down. And, he is a defensive-minded person, so that may actually work for you guys, is that he can really pick and set up the right schemes on this, because you got to slow Halliburton down. They're averaging in this series here, series averages almost 30 assists a game, scoring 118 points basically. That's a lot of passing, so that's really good for them. It's, like you said, it's turnovers or rebounds or scores, it don't matter. They're transitioning, and they're trying to kick it up and win by going fast. And I think that's going to hurt Cat unless Tom Thibodeau can get him into the practice this week and say, hey, we're going to get you more in shape to where you can actually get up and down and ready to do this. Not that he's that out of shape, but I'm just saying he's got to take it to another level. Hey, I've got to score, but I got to bust my tail to get back on defense so I can be down there. Because, Toppin, like you said, is rolling out, trying to get out there to get that beautiful dunk in New York to say, hey, you should have kept me. So it's got to be one thing I've been preaching to my son in sports is if something bad goes happen, you can't celebrate your mistakes, because you're taking that time to do whatever. You can't celebrate your positives as well. With them, for the Knicks, I feel like it is milliseconds of memory. Like, okay, we scored, get back. Okay, we turn it over, get back. Like, that's what you got to be thinking. And Tom Thibodeau's got to get that into everyone's head to buy into it. No complaining to a ref. Hey, that's a foul. Shut your mouth and run back. Get to the paint and find your guy. And so, to me, Tom Thibodeau is the X factor on what he's going to do as far as the schemes to try to slow Halliburton down. As far as the Pacers, in my opinion, I'm going to say it's the front court. As far as the X factor for them, who's going to step up and be there? We've got Miles Turner, we said, Toppin, so many other ones. Again, it's got to be, I guess, by committee of them outplaying the Knicks front court. And if I think that their front court can outplay the Knicks, I think the edge goes to the Pacers because we know Halliburton's going to get his. We know Brunson's going to get his. It's just how they combat against Cat and whoever else is in their front court. Because if Cat's not there, we even said it, or you said it last series, if he doesn't score in the 20s, you lose. So I think it's going to come down for the Pacers how well their front court plays on offense and defense.
Yes. Yeah. X factors for the Knicks for me. I think again it'd probably be Josh Hart versus Macy's Knicks. I would say Josh Hart because they're gonna sag off him because he's the worst shooter out of everyone in that starting lineup. So they're gonna overhelp on Towns and on Brunson more so than anyone. So he's going to have to stay active, score, knock down timely threes, knock down corner threes, get to the basket, get to the foul line, get N1s. Dude, he has to just be Josh Hart. Just be Josh Hart. Don't fade. Don't feel like, damn, they're sagging off me or I missed a couple shots. And just not try to find your shot. Be aggressive, set screens, slip fast. He needs to really ball out in this series. I think he's a big X factor for us. I would say Deuce McBride as well. I would also say Deuce McBride because TJ McConnell could come in there. He's a fire starter, man. He's not afraid of playing in Madison Square Garden. He has a great game where he could get to that mid-range spot, pull up mid-range. He could be very dangerous. He's a sneaky defender, gets steals. Very annoying player, very annoying player to watch if he's not on your team. But definitely respect there for sure. So Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, we're gonna need them big time. Mikal Bridges too. I mean, Mikal Bridges should be posting up, and Nembhard. You got Nembhard by like 4 inches. The wingspan is also he has the edge as well. I mean, Bridges, McBride, and to me are very key. And then offensively for the Knicks, OG and Cat have to get it going early in the game. That seems to be the formula for us. And when Cat is active in the game early, it gets him into a rhythm, and he's playing defense. He's doing everything he needs to do. So we need to start. We get Cat the ball early, let him get it going. Knock down some shots, see some things going well. OG as well, knocking down threes, running the floor, getting some quick post-ups when they have a mismatch. Have to get him the ball because if he's going to apply all this effort on defense and not see the pill on offense, especially when he's open, he's in the right spots, it's deflating. I mean, these guys are human. So it's on Tibbs, it's on Brunson to make sure these guys get good looks early, and then come the fourth quarter, we know what time it is if the situation presents itself. For Indiana, Nembhard, Mathurin, Nesmith, they're going to have to play well. At least two out of three of those guys. McConnell, those four players are gonna have to play well for the Pacers. Knock down shots, play defense, try to get one of our guys in foul trouble to really, change the momentum in the series for Indiana. But if they're knocking down shots, they're playing well. It's going to be. I could see it going 7, but I think this Knicks team, they play well on the road. Pacers, they play well on the road too. But it's just the way we've been playing, man. This could be a special season for us. So we just got to lock in, do what we need to do, rebound, box out, get rebounds with 2 hands. These rebounds with 2 hands, man. Stop grabbing the rebound with 1 hand. Get the rebound with 1 hand, and then the guy that's trying to guard you, he's trying to get the rebound. Once you get the ball with 1 hand and put it back, he's fouling you and say, and 1.
Yep.
It's just common sense, but I don't know, man. I don't know, but like I said, Knicks in 6. Let's get it.
Knicks in 6. Whew. Who knows? It's going to be a fun series. Both of these conference finals, whoever it is going to be a fun series for sure. I actually think this has been a more fun playoff than last year.
By far.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, guys, I think I've got a comment. I didn't see this one. Let's see here.
Lamar, what up, bro?
Lamar jumping in. How we doing, Lamar?
Hope all is well, bro. Good to see you.
Yep. So, really, I think that kind of does the episode for today. As always, we did great. You said Knicks. I don't know who. I've got to pick somebody. I can't just not pick. My gut's telling me Pacers, man. I'm sorry. So I'm going to go with Pacers in 7. But I hope the Knicks win. I'm before you all. But okay. Anyway, so CJ, let's wrap this up. Where can everybody find you at, man?
So you can find me on X at cjames9_ at IG at cj.james9. And also on YouTube at CJ versus the World.
You can find me, MD Lawson00, pretty much all social media platforms. You can also catch out my second episode, Cats Chat, where we're covering everything Kentucky sports. I was going to say basketball, but we're live with that one on Wednesday at 9 p.m. And we got Clara Strack, who was a sophomore this year for the girls basketball team. I really think if you guys like women's basketball, she is a girl to keep your eye out. She's a 6'5", I think. Power forward that can shoot the 3 and block all kinds of shots. She, in my opinion, will be in the WNBA when she gets a senior.
Okay.
Let's see here. Shout out to Michael. I remember you from the old podcast. Glad to see you're still through. Okay. All right. Appreciate that, man. Glad you dropped on here, and we appreciate that. Of course, CJ, you've been on here with me for what, about 2 years now, I guess? If not 3?
Three. Yeah, it's been 3.
Yeah,
2022, yep.
We've been doing this for a long time. Of course, Lamar, he messaged me actually before he came on here and just was chatting with me. And I looked and said, man, last time we talked, it's been 2 years ago. So, man, having a reunion a little bit here. So we appreciate all your love, guys, all the likes, the 32 that are still here with us now. We'll catch y'all next week where we know who's in the Western Conference Final, and we'll be able to predict that and see where we're going from there. So until next time, guys, like, subscribe, share, turn on that notification, and we will catch you all next week.
See you guys next week. Have a good one.